Okay, so since you understand how to get a present value, future value, right now, we have to think about another case. What's that? For the cases we've mentioned, we think only for 1 year, right? So after 3 years. So usually the periods is for how long? Every 1 year, right? So we talk about like this. For 3 years, we talk about after 1 year, after 2 years, after 3 years. So the interest incurred for every 1 year. But the problem is, most of cases, we have the interest incurred now for 1 year. Like what? I buy the house. I borrow money from the bank. How often the bank asks me to pay the interest? Each month, not only for 1 year. And when you deposit the money into the bank, how often you get the interest from the bank? Every 6 months, okay? So right now we talk about what if the interest occurred less than 1 year. It's not only for 1 year, okay? So we talk about that. When the interest occurred, they are less than 1 year, okay? It's quite common situations. So you have to understand when interest occurred less than 1 year, how we get the present value, future value, okay? So for example, right here, first case we mentioned, right? What if every 1 year you got a I market interest rate 12%? So for the first case, how long the interest occurred? 1 year, right? So the compound, we call it, the term we call is compounding period, 复利期间. Compounding period, 复利期间 is how long the interest occurred, happened, okay? So this is compounding period. So for the case, compounding period is 1 year. How about second case? Can you tell me for the second case? Your interest occurred for how long? Every 6 months, right? So the compounding period is 6 months. How about the third case? How often the interest occurred, happened? Every 3 months. So what's your compounding period? 3 months. Okay, so compounding periods could be 1 year, could be 6 months, could be 3 months. Depends on how often your interest incurred happened, okay? So based on this, can you tell me, first case, compounding period 1 year. So for each period, what's your I market interest rate? For first case, 1 year, 12%, right? So 12% is our I for each compounding period. So your I is 12%. So I is 12% for each compounding period. 每一个复利期间。So your I is 12% for first case. How about your second case? Compounding period 6 months. So can you tell me for each compounding period, what's your I? Should be 6%, right? Why? Because how many times? 1, 2, right? So every 6 months, your I market interest rate is 6%. How about the third case? Each compounding period, your I market interest rate should be 3%, right? So what's 3%? Is 12% for how many times? Every 3 months. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. So divided by 4. So you have I 3% for each compounding period. Okay? So you have to find out how often your interest happen based on the frequency different. Your period, the period time will the length of period will not be the same. I will not be the same. Then also, can you tell me what's N? N means what? N means how many times the interest occurred. Okay, so that's N. So N means number of compounding periods. Okay, 复利次数. So your compounding periods, how many times the total numbers? Remember, is total numbers. Total numbers. So not only for 1 year, it's total numbers. So can you tell me what's N? Last case, N should be 1 year. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So 4 times for 1 year. So it should be 4 times for 1 year. But the problem is, what if your company totally not only for 1 year, it's for 3 years, okay? So what if it's 3 years? Remember, we want to know the total numbers. So not only for 1 year, you have to times for how many years? Okay, then you can get the total numbers. How about second case? What's your N? N is 2 times for 1 year, right? So for the second case, your N is 2 times, right? For 1 year. But depends on how many years you have. So you have to times how many years. Then you can get your N. How about the first case? What's your N? 1 time for 1 year, right? Also, you have to consider how many years you have. So times in years. Okay, any questions? So this is how we find out your N and your I. Any questions? If you don't have any questions, please go to your handout on page 9. So your handout on page 9, please find out your N and your I. So you hang on page 9 here. We told you compounding annually, right? So first case is annually. So your interest incurs only one time for each year. So can you tell me your N and your I? What's your I? What's your N? How about your second case? Compounding semi-annually. Semi-annually means 1 year, 2 times, right? So can you tell me your N and your I? Third case, compounding quarterly. So quarterly means what? Every 3 months. So what's your N, your I? Last case, compounding monthly. So what's your N, what's your I? Okay, are you done? For first case, what's your I? 1 year. 12%, right? So for each compounding period, 12%. How many times? 4 years, right? So it should be 4 is 1 year, 1 time for 1 year, for 4 years. How about your second case? Semi-annually. So each period should be 6%, right? Because it's 12% divided by 2. So what's your periods? 8 periods, right? How to get the periods? 2 times for each year. How many years? 4 years. How about your third case? I is 3%. How to get a 3%? 12% divided by 4, right? Because your interest occurred 4 times for each year. So each period, 3%. So what's your N? Each year, 4 times. For how many years? 4 years. How about last one? Monthly. So each period should be 1% because 12% divided by 12 times, right? Then what's your N? Each year, 12 times for 4 years. Okay, any questions? So you have to understand what's your N, what's your I. Any questions? No problem? Okay. If you don't have any questions, then why is it important to understand your N and I? Can you tell me, based on these 4 cases, which one you will have the higher future value? If we put $1 today, which one, case 1, 2, 3, 4, which one you will have the higher future value? Do you know? For example, if we assume you have the case right here, $100 for 12%. What's your future value? Another case, $100 today. Then your interest incurred every 6 months. So 6%, 6%, you got a future value. Can you tell me which case you will have a higher future value? Case 1 or case 2? Which one you have a higher future value? Case 1 or case 2? Case 2, right? Why? Even though $100 today, total annual interest rate the same, but case 2, you will get the higher interest, higher future value. Why is that? Because based on the case 2, can you get your interest for your, you get your interest for your case 2 every 6 months right here, right? So based on 100, you plus 6%. Okay? So every 6 months, you got not only 100, also you got a 6% interest, right? Can you use the 100 also 6% interest to get more interest back? So that means your 100 can help you to get interest, increased interest. Also, your 6%, the money also can get interest. Okay? So of course, you can get more money back because your 100 can help you to get the interest. Your 6% interest can help you to get another interest. Okay? But how about the first case? First case, you can get only interest from the $100. Okay? So did you find out which one you can get more money? Of course, the second case, right? Second case, not only 100 get interest. Your interest can help you to get another interest. So that's about compounding, 复利效果. So it's 复利效果，钱滚钱，本金帮你赚利息，利息再帮你赚利息。Okay? So that's compounding effect. So that's why when your interest increase more often, then you can get more money because you can earn more interest back. Okay? If you don't believe it, let's look at the case right here. Please finish your handout on page 10 and page 11. Page 10 and page 11, what's the difference? Page 10, compounding annually. So page 10, compounding annually. So look at your page 10. Page 10, compounding annually, okay? So your interest incurred annually for your page 10. How long? 4 years, 12%. Then how about page 11, compounding semi-annually? Okay, so the only difference is your interest incurred annually or semi-annually. So based on this, can you tell me what's our present value? We want to know the present value, okay? So please finish by yourself. What's the N for page 10? What's I, N and I for page 10 and page 11? Okay, and find out the present value. You can look at the tables, accounting tables, or you can use your calculator. So page 10 and page 11, the only difference is the frequency, how often your interest happened. Okay, are you done? Okay, for page 10. So page 10, what does it mean? What's N? Compounded annually for 4 years, right? So what's N? N is 4, right? What's I? For each compounding period is 12%, okay? So for N is 4, I is 12%. You can use your own calculator or you can look at accounting tables, either way. So you can just divide it by yourself, use your own calculator, or you can use accounting table, depends on you. So what does it mean? Finally, we find out present value is $635.52. So what does it mean? It means if you invest the money today, invest it today, $635.52, you put the money into the market today. After 4 years, how much money you can earn? $1,000, okay? So the money you can earn after 4 years is $1,000. Okay? So did you find out? At the beginning, you put the money $635.52. After 4 years, you earn $1,000. So during these 4 years, what's your interest? So the interest you earned during these 4 years is how much? The difference, right? So your the interest should be $364.48. So that's the interest you earned during these 4 years. Okay? Now how about your page 11? For page 11, our interest occurred compounding period is every 6 months, right? So for your second case on your handout, page 11, what's your N? What's your I? Your N is how many times? 8, right? Each year, 2 times for 4 years. So it should be 8. What's I? 6%, right? Because 12% divided by 2, because each year interest occur 2 times, so it's 6%. So I find out N is 8, I is 6%, okay? So based on N is 8, I is 6%. Also, you can use your calculator to do your math, or you can use accounting tables, depends on you. So I find out the present value is how much? $627.41. So what does it mean? It means at the first day, at the beginning, you invested how much? $627.41 invested to date. How much money you can earn after 4 years? $1,000 you can earn. Okay? So during these 4 years, what's your total interest you have? The difference between these two numbers, right? So I find out the interest I can earn is $1,000 minus 627.41. So you find out it should be 372.59. So this is interest you earned. Okay? So did you find out which case you can earn more interest? The second one, right? Because when your interest occurred more frequently, then you can earn more interest. Okay? Any questions? So based on these two cases, did you find out when I want to earn $1,000 after 4 years? Since the second case, the N is higher, means you have more interest occurred, right? So it's more frequently, then you will earn more interest. So means what? You can invest lower amount of money to earn the same amount, $1,000 in the future, okay? So for this case, when you find out your N is higher, that means what? You can invest lower amount of money. Less money, so less amount. But still, okay, so you can invest less amount of money still to earn the same amount. Same future value. Okay, so when your earn is higher, your compounding period is shorter, your interest incur more frequently, then you can invest less amount of money, still earn the same amount, 1,000. Okay? Any questions? No problem? Then how about I don't need to do the math? If I don't need to do the math, based on the case, if this is the same case. If I invest the same amount of money, which one you can earn more money back? The second case, right? Why? Because use the same amount of money, I invest $1,000 today, but which one you can earn higher interest, more interest? Always the second one, right? So the second one, when N is higher, your interest increase more frequently. Always you can earn higher interest, okay? So always this one is higher. The first case always should be lower for your interest, okay? So during the whole process, when your N is higher, your interest occur more frequently. Always, you will get higher interest. So when you get higher interest means what? I put the same amount of money, I'll earn more money back. Or I want to earn the same money, but I just need to invest the less amount of money. Okay? Any questions? So based on the case I note, when your N is higher, okay? N is higher means what? Your interest occurred more frequently. That means what? Means you will earn interest more. Okay? Since you can earn interest more, that means what? Otherwise, you can invest less amount of money. or you will earn more money. Okay, so when you can invest less money means your present value should be lower. When you can earn more money back means what? Means your future value should be higher. So it depends on you. The key point is right here. During the process, you earn more interest. Okay. So you can finish your handout on page 12. Handout on page 12 is summarize all the data we have. Any questions? Okay. So did you find out here? So you will find out on here. Your present value will be lower, or your future value will be higher. The key difference is from the major reason is from your interest. You have more interest. Okay. Okay. So for your page 12, I show you the answer. You can look at the answer right here. Okay. So here just want to show you when you earn higher, you will earn more interest. Okay. You earn higher, you will earn more interest. Okay. It's quite important, right? It's like compounding power, 复利效果. So here just want to show you compounding power, 复利的力量. No problem? Okay. So we've done the whole concept here, but we still have one thing I want to talk about. I think for your other courses, tell you how to get the present value, future value, the skills right here, right? But so far, we just talk about one number, right? So based on the number we have, for example, right here, based on one number, only invest $1,000 at the beginning, and I want to know that $1,000 future value. But the problem is, you will only have a one number when you invest the money only one time. No, it's not, right? Maybe each year you decide to invest 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. So what if the number is only one number? We have so many $1,000. Then how could you get the present value, future value? Okay. So right now I want to talk about when it's not only one number, one amount. So on your slide, page 44, we talk about annuity, 年金. So what does it mean? 年金 annuity, same amount. So you have the same amount occurred during same periods. So the number occurred not only one time, the number occurs so many times. But remember, we talk about only same amount for same period. So can you tell me what kind of case we have for this kind of data? But here, just tell you, is the data only for this kind of data we call it annuity. So any data meet this situation, we call it annuity. Same amount occurred during same period. So what kind of case we have? It's like what? Installment payment, 分期付款. So it's quite common for installment payment, 分期付款. Installment payment is like when I buy the house, when I buy the car. So when I owe the money from the bank always asks me to do the installment payment. So what does it mean? The bank asks me to pay the same amount during the same period. So each period, each month, the bank asks me to pay $10,000 back. So same amount during the same period. So how often? 1 month, 1 month, 1 month, 1 month. Okay? So installment payment is annuity. Same amount occur during same period. Okay? What else? Interest. So you promise to pay the interest to the creditor, right? So what's your promise? I promise every 6 months I'm going to pay the interest to the creditors. So you are going to pay, promise to pay the interest. So same amount, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000 for every 6 months, every 6 months, every 6 months. Okay? How about rent? You pay the rent. So usually we pay the rent maybe 1 year, right? Every 1 year. So the same amount for how long? Every 1 year. Every 1 year. Okay? So for any cases right here, same amount for same period. This kind of data we call it annuity, 年金. Okay? So installment payment is annuity, 年金. Interest is annuity, 年金. Rent payment is annuity, 年金. For this kind of data. Also, have you heard about old age patient, 老人年金? Why we call it 老人年金? Because annuity, 年金, what kind of data it is? Each month, we are going to give the elders the money $6,000, right? So 每个月给老人6000块. So why we call it 老人年金? Because it look like this data. Every month for $6,000. Okay? Any questions? So for annuity, when we want to get a future value, present value, how? The same scale. But the problem is right now is so many numbers right here, right? So remember, each one, they are not the same. So first number is not the same as the second one. It's not the same as the third one. It's not the same as the last one. Your first 100 is not the same as the second one or third one. Your first $8,000 is not the same as the second one, right? Because they are at a different time, different date. So when we want to know the future value, present value, use the same skill you have. But the problem is you have to do it a couple times, okay? So for example, right here, on your slide, page 47, we want to invest $2,000 for every year. So how many times? 1, 2, 3. Same amount for same period, every 1 year. So that's annuity. So how to get the future value? Look at the first one. First $2,000. Then how many periods you have? 1, 2, right? So when I try to get the future value for your first $2,000 is what? It passed 1, 2 periods. So what's the end? 2. How about your second $2,000? It passed only one period, right? So you have to times only one time. Market interest rate right here, 5%. How about your last one? It's the same day, right? So it's 2,000. Okay? So after you got the future value for your first 2,000, second 2,000, last 2,000, then add up together. Okay? So you just add up together for your first 2,000, second 2,000, and third, you got the future value should be $6,305. Okay? So you can use the calculator to do your job. But right now, accounting, again, we are so sweet. We decide to do the job for you guys. So for this part, accounting, we do the math for you guys. Okay? So it's what? It's the factor, the number we use trying to get what? To get the annuity future value. Okay? So it's annuity's future value factor. Because it's same amount for same period, right? So it's annuity's future value factor.年金未来值因子。So again, you can do your job by yourself. You just use 2,000 times 1 plus 5%, 1 plus 5% 2 times. And you calculate the second 2,000. You calculate the third 2,000 and add up together by yourself. Or you can use accounting tables. We do the jobs for you guys, okay? So based on this, then how to get the future value is annuity's future value is based on the 2,000. 2,000 is annuity, right? 年金. So based on the 2,000 年金, then we use accounting tables, future value factors, 年金未来值因子 is this part. Okay? So depends on you. You can do the job by yourself or look at accounting tables. And remember, is what? Based on annuity 2,000, we're trying to find out the future value. So it's another table. So this table is right here. For the annuity, 年金 annuity 年金 annuity, we try to find out that future value. So you have to find out the table. Again, what's N? What's I? So what's N? What's I? Total annuity occurred 1, 2, 3, 3 times. For 3 years, 3 times. Okay, what's I? 5%. So I'm going to use what's N? 3. What's I? 5%. Okay, and look at the table, then I can find out what's my annuity future value. Okay, so what's N? 3. What's I? 5%. I find out the annuity's future value factor, 年金未来值因子. So I just use that number to get the future value. Okay? Any questions? No? Then how about the present value? The same. The present value is also the same. We have a 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, the annuity. Same amount occurred during same period, right? So what should we do? For the first 1,000, trying to get the present value, so you should divide it by only one time, right? How about a market interest rate 10%? How about the second 1,000? Pays for 1, 2 times, right? So divided by 2 times. How about the last one? When I try to get the present value, it passed for 1, 2, 3 to go back here now. So you have to divide it by 3 times, okay? So again, you can just do your jobs. So find out 1,000 for each one, then add up together, okay? So you can do your job by yourself. Or again, accounting will do the job for you guys. So based on this part, we do the job. So what kind of job we done? We try to get 1 divided by 1 plus 10% in times, okay? So this is what we code. Use the number to get the present value. So it's your annuities present value factor. 年金未来值因子现值因子。Okay? And also, what's N? What's I? N is 3, right? What's I? 10%. So based on N, based on I just look at the table. Another table, table 4. So table 4 told me the present value, annuities present value factor. So for the annuity, I want to find out the present value. So what's N? 3. What's I? 10%. I find out the number right here. So I use the annuities present value factor times the annuity, only 1,000. I can get the present value for the annuities is 2,486.85. Any questions? You can finish your handout on page 14 and 15. Then that's it for today. Your handout on page 14 and 15. So that's all the skills we need to get the present value, future value. So next week, we are going to use the skills right now we have to discuss accounting issues. So today is only tell you the skills to get the present value, future value. That's it. So you can finish the page 14 and 15. Okay? So this is the answer for your reference. Then you can go home. Your page 14. So you can use either way. You can use this way, do your own job. Or you can use accounting way, just look at the tables. So this when you do your job by yourself. So you can use this way using your calculators. Or you can use accounting way, look at the tables, depends on you. So this for your calculator. Or you can use the table, accounting table. Depends on you, okay? So that's for page 14. Then how about page 15? Right here. No problem? Then you can go home. That's it for today.